As for what's happening the week ahead, well, I'm going to get some help from Suzanne Haddan, who's the head of BFG Financial Services. Morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
So next week, or next few days, we're going to get some unemployment figures in Australia, as well as some big central bank meetings worldwide. What are you paying most attention to?
Well, the big one for us is the US Federal Reserve. So they'll be meeting and they're still expected to increase interest rates, but they've been increasing by 0.75%, which is 3 times what our last increase was. This time we're thinking it might be 0.5%. One of the things we're watching there is they have what's called an inverted yield curve, which means interest rates on bonds on 10 years is lower than what they are in 2 years. And that sometimes is an indicative sign that there might be a recession. So I'm sure plenty are hoping the Federal Reserve take that into account when they think about their rate rises.
Yeah, a lot to look out for there. And when we turn our focus locally, the Reserve Bank, they warned earlier this week that there will be more interest rate hikes ahead. So the question is, how many more?
And that's the issue. We've got the likely February they might increase again. The great thing is there is a breathing time now because we have the December meeting, next one's February. So let's see what data comes through. They're very clear that although they expect to increase rates, it will be dependent on the data that they get in that intervening time. Whether it hits up to 3.6, which is rather frightening, particularly for borrowers, exciting for savers, is the issue. I mean, we're particularly concerned about first home borrowers because a lot of those took fixed loan rates and about 2/3 of those are coming off next year. Now think about it. July 21, the rate was around 2%. Next year when they come off, it's going to be 5% plus. That means they could have a 50% plus increase in their repayments. I want to talk about the B word, B for budgeting. I know it's not enjoyable for most, but what it is empowering, and you need to sit down as your household and work out where you're at, what's your plan. Don't play chicken with the RBA. I know they got some forecasts wrong, but rates are going to be high.
Yeah, so those facing the mortgage cliff definitely better talk to someone from the bank to prepare for what's coming ahead. Now, Australia's biggest trading partner, China, it's hoping to have an economic rebound by loosening slightly its COVID-0 policy. Do you think this could backfire, or might this be good for the Australian economy?
Well, we're certainly hoping that it opens up production, that it gets the economy booming again over in China, because that's great for our economy being a major export partner to China. The issue is, for most of us, how are they going to cope with living with COVID? They get it wrong, it could be a spiral and a massive negative impact, not only on our economy, but on the world. But interestingly, if they get it right and they're out there travelling, consuming, we could have more inflation issues around the world, which could mean interest rates could go higher.
Could be a mixed bag what happens with China and the implications for Australia. Now, I got one more question for you, Suzanne. This morning, the ATO announced that it raided 35 properties across Australia with the help of the federal police, cracking down on businesses using ESSTs, which is electronic sales suppression tools. So in your long experience with taxation, have you come across or heard stories of anyone using these tax dodging tools?
Well, as a tax agent, we don't have much excitement, so an AFP raid is one of those big moments for us. But we certainly have seen over the years people try to dud the tax office. In the past, it's been not declaring cash that you've taken off your customers. Now, in this economy, we are mainly cashless. And so these tools have been created to not declare your income. So we have seen those incidences and we think it's great if they're cracking down on it. Remember, the ATO is very sophisticated. They have tools to see that your business isn't reporting what they would expect it to, given the expenses. They match that data and then they find out who's not doing the right thing.
Suzanne, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you, Dave. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you too. So that was Suzanne Haddan from BFG Financial, but important public services announcement to do the right thing with our taxes.
And Merry Christmas to both of you. We appreciate the Christmas colours.
We do,
Red and white and green getting started nicely. Thanks so much. Good to see you both.